Welcome to another music video, and today I'm going to do my fifth episode of digital new releases for 2021. So all the music I will talk about in this video has been released this year or at the very back end of last year. I say that because I recall there is one. Now, there's been a huge amount of releases over the last 2 months. The last time I did one of these was back in mid-April, and I'm unable to go through them all because it would take too long. I've been doing a lot of listening, it has to be said, and I'm going to cover a few in this one. Basically the ones that I find quite appealing, and I'm going to start off with a band called The Coral, and their latest offering is called Coral Island. Now, I didn't know much about this band before I downloaded this file, but I found out a little bit about them. They were formed in 1996, school friends at a high school in Hoylake, which is in Lancashire, famous for its golf club. And eventually, by the time they got to record, they were 6 in all, and they all met at high school, which is quite a sort of nostalgic way of getting on the music bandwagon. Their music was very much a hybrid of psychedelia, a bit of dub reggae, very much a Merseybeat type of sound, and a touch of country. And a lot of their early stuff, they were obsessed with the sea, as they were brought up on the sea, on the coast. And this psychedelia style, mixed with sort of folk rock and some old-fashioned country, was mixed in with modern indie rock influences. And so to this album then, half of it I think captures the whirling fun and sparkle of a seaside resort in full swing, and the other tells the story of the other half of the faded mystique of that decaying sort of place, once a beloved spot. There's a lot of experimental 60s pop on this one, reminded me a little bit of the Honeycombs and the Tornadoes. And there's a whopping 24 songs. It's a double set, and there's also an EP of 5 more as well. I've really listened to it all on one occasion, and the first half, a couple of maybe 3 occasions now, and I love it. It's got a sort of British sort of pop feel to it, and the songs are exquisitely played, and I'm going to go through a few. It opens up with a welcome to Coral Island. There's quite a bit of narrative introducing some of the songs. The harmonies glow, and there's some shimmering guitar on here. Lover Undiscovered is a gentle rocker, and there's a nice lead guitar run. It's very melodic. Change of Mind next up, got a country feel about it, and the harmonies are almost reminiscent of a British Eagles. The guitar style is similar to a band called the Lars. And then a spacey rock song appears next, with a hint of moody blues vocals. And finally, we get to the end of side 1, and we get a standard sort of garage rock song. But it's got a 50s style to it. So get to listen to it. It's an album which I think is going to be on my turntable or on my Winamp player regularly. It's called Coral Island, and it's by The Coral. Next up is the latest release by Paul Weller. It's called Fat Pop, and it's Volume 1 apparently. This is his 16th studio album, and of course anybody who knows my channel will know that I really love Paul Weller. Here he delivers yet another eclectic mix of pop psychedelia with a bit of jazz rock thrown in, plus the blues, and there's also some post-punk tidbits. And I'm really getting into this. Cosmic Fringes kicks us off with that throbbing synthesized beat intertwined with the bass and drums combo, and certainly Craddock and Weller are well on top of this one. Next up is Time, which has a rocky 60s style, and a sax flutters in and out. And then to the title track, it's got a catchy hip hop beat, and the vocals sound very much like Shades of Blue is next. And Glad Tides was a single release. It's got some really colourful lyrics if you check that out on YouTube. Now, I could go through all the tracks, but this will go on far too long if I do. Just to say that there's some scorchers on the sort of latter part of the disc. In Better Times, very easy on the ear, pop gem really, with some horns clipped into the jazz, lounge jazz feel, but it never loses that pop flurry, and there's some gorgeous sounds on that track, and the finale still glides the stream, sumptuous, a concoction of strings, lavish piano, and bells and brass. So what you've got is some top class pop music by a musician who knows how to provide what his audience likes. He is the ultimate professional. His name is Paul Weller, and this latest offering, Fat Pop, get to listen to it. It's a gem. Great albums over the last 2 months have come out, and this is another one. It's called Daddy's Home, and it's by St Vincent, which of course is the band fronted by one Annie Clark. I recently did a video of Annie with David Byrne, ex-Talking Heads, and so I've become pretty keen on her work. I haven't gone through her back catalogue that much, but as soon as this one was shown on allmusic.com, I grabbed it, and I'm really pleased I have. Some fantastic rhythmic arrangements here, and she can't be pigeonholed with her music. There's some soulful jazz here. The title track is very reflective of that. It's got a slight leaning to music hall extravagance, but it's really beautiful. Living the Dream is a swirling, psychedelic, rapturous song with guitars, very Pink Floyd-like even. She's a hell of a guitar player, and there's a touch of Beatles magical mystery tour as well. And I could go on track by track. This becomes a very, very, very polished piece of work. The Laughing Man, a sardonic ballad with lots of electronic, pacey, dream-inspired harmonies, coupled with that sort of progressive 70s psychedelia. This is a tremendous piece of work. It's been apparently prompted by the relationship with her father, who has returned into her life. In the past, apparently a lot of struggles with that relationship. But let's be honest, this is top class, a top class album by a top class performer. Get to listen to it. It's Daddy's Home, and it's by St Vincent. The album that I want to touch on briefly in this new release is episode 5. Is the latest by Van Morrison. It's called Latest Record Project Volume 1. It's an awesome collection. There are over 30 songs on this, 3 hours of music. It's very much in Van's sort of comfort zone, it has to be said. Very loose R&B with a touch of contemporary gospel, and a pinch of jazz and blues. Well, this is Morrison. There are very few, if any, Celtic sort of style songs. This is a bit more sort of boppy, tap your feet to the world. And Morrison's lyrics, well, he ain't that happy with the state of the world, that's for sure. COVID hasn't done any favours for his amusement, and he takes an aim at these irritants with some of the titles that we get to hear. Where have all the rebels gone? No good deed goes unpunished. Stop bitching, do something. Why are you on Facebook? And they own the media. So you've got a lot to get your teeth into lyrically, but the music should be very familiar to Van Morrison fans. And I can't really go through it because it's so splendid and so complete. But there are some tracks that hit you quicker than others. But at the end of the day, he's got a great band. His voice is as good as ever. And Van Morrison, well, get to listen to the guy. He isn't going to be around for too many more moons. It's the latest record project. It's called Volume 1. And I did hear an interview with Van, who said that there's going to be Volume 2 at the close of this year. What an artist. The main ones that I wanted to get over to you. Now a few that I have listened to, but hardly substantially. But I think I'd like to make a note of them. The next up is Billy Gibbons, ex-VCZ Top. His latest album, Hardware. It's his third solo offering. No surprises here. It's straight ahead rock and roll in the vein of ZZ Top. Fuzz tone guitars, a thick swing and burly boogie, and some sly jokes and growled vocals from Billy. It's pretty good, but let's move on. Big Colours by Ryan Adams. Now, I've been a big fan of Adams, particularly going back to the beginning of the millennium with the absolutely awesome Gold. This is still very much in the vein of heartland rock from the 80s. It's mid-tempo mellow rock music, really, but I was pretty disappointed with it. There's no great surprises on here, and many of the songs are easily forgettable. The best of the bunch, Manchester, which has got a power pop sort of Americana sound, and the Close of Summer Rain caught my ear. And there's also a track called Do Not Disturb, which has a bit of a dance beat, really. But what I became aware of was that he had got into some serious issues with some ladies that have passed through his hands. His ex-wife Mandy Moore and rising star Phoebe Bridges have made various allegations about his manipulative sexual practices, whatever that is. So I was a bit surprised to see a track called Power on this album, and the lyrics sort of gravitate a little bit towards a sexualized nature. So I don't think that's going to win him many fans. The album is pretty so-so, really, for you. The first is Education and Education, Entertainment and Recreation by New Order. This is a double live album, and if you are into New Order, you'll love this. I have listened to some of it. I do like them, in moderation, to be fair. This double album set was recorded, I believe, obviously before the lockdown. It's got Blue Monday, True Faith, and also two of the Joy Division hits, Disorder, and I think the last track is Love Will Tear Us Apart. It's very much a collector's piece, but it's good stuff. If you like New Order, you'll love it. And the last one, because this video again is going on too long, is an album that was released in 2020, but really hasn't surfaced until recently. The release, I think, was delayed because of I don't know what, maybe problems with the final cut. And it's celebrating Peter Green and the original Fleetwood Mac. It's a live concert organised by Mick Fleetwood. Of course, he created Fleetwood Mac with Peter Green back in the late 60s. The concert took place in February 2020, and poor Peter passed on in July. He wasn't at the concert, but it's a great collection, really, of the early Fleetwood Mac. John Mayall came in and sang a song. He is well over 80 now. Billy Gibbons again was behind the guitar on Green Manalishi. We also got to hear Pete Townsend and David Gilmour, who features on Albatross, and he was also involved in Man of the World, I believe. And Oh Well, that was a song that we heard as well. The pick of the bunch for me was Need Your Love So Bad, which was sang and played excellently by Johnny Lang, an American blues legend. And of course, Black Magic Woman. So Christine McVie appeared as well at the concert, and there was a brief appearance by Bill Wyman on bass for a couple of tracks. So it's a great collection of music, but it's hardly new. So that's my lot then. I've got a lot more to do, so there is going to be an episode 6 shortly.